Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Abdul Najman.
My name is Nurfuzri Minti Remy.
And my name is Muhammad Hamzah Fauzan bin Abdul Razak.
Okay, for the introduction, we all know that the Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol (DHCP) may be a network management protocol that is used for dynamically assigning the IP address and other information to each host on the network so that they can communicate easily. Even every device connected to the web has a unique IP address that have to identified consistent with IPv4 and or IPv6 protocol. A DNS server contains database and public IP address and their corresponding domains name and their corresponding domains name. So next is our physical topology. You can see that PC1, PC2 and PC3 we connected with VMnet2 to server, and for PC2 VMnet3 to server, and PC3 connect to VMnet to server. So next, our logical topology. You can see that from the internet connected to server, and then the PC1, PC2, PC3 connected with the server. So from the PC1 connected. So next is our addressing table. You can see that we have the host name interface and IP address, default gateway and DNS. You can see the file server 1 and although the PC1 and PC2 and PC3. Next, we assign the IP address in each network or PC. So we can see that PC1 and PC2 we have renamed it by each PC. So next for PC3 we assign the name to PC3. So next we given the file server name, and also we assign the IP address on VMnet2. So next for VMnet3 we assign the IP address, and also VMnet4 we assign the IP address to the addressing table given.
Okay, thank you, Amirul. Okay, for configuration DNS and DHCP. And firstly, I installed the Windows server. Okay, for ADDS, install DHCP and DNS. And for domain name, I use the IKH and invite ikh.inv.my. Okay, next. And for the password, p alias ssw0rd for the password, and for adding name NetBIOS, I use ikh. Next. Okay. For the prerequisites check, install ADDS, and for the configuration DHCP. Next. Okay. For the scope, name HR, alias administration. HR administration department, and adding the IP address start at 192.168.2.1 and in IP address 192.168.2.254 for delete 224. Next. Okay. And set 10 IPX address, choose 8 days for valid days, and 192.168.2.192.168.2.10. And for the last duration, I choose 8 days. Next. And I set the 192.168.2.10 as a default gateway. And for the set domain parent, I change the inv.my. Next. And click finish. Next. Okay. For the new scope second new scope, account department, and adding range IP address, start IP address 172.16.2.1, and in IP address 172.16.2.254, and for delete 24. Next, and set 10 IP exclude address 172.16.2.1 to 172.16.2.10, and for the last duration 10 days. Okay, next. And for the default gateway 172.16.2.10, and for the SM parent ikh.inv.my. Next, and click finish. Next, and for the third new scope, name is normal staff, and set IP address range for the start 10.10.2.1 and end IP address 10.10.2.254, and for the late 24. Next. Okay, assign 10 IP exclude address 10.10.2.1 to 10.10.2.10, and last duration is 10 days. Next. And for the parent domain ikh.inv.my, and finish creating. Next, I pass the Amza Fauzan.
So the next step is create reverse zone. First we must choose primary type. Next, choose the domain controller in this domain. Next, for the select the IPv4 reverse lookup zone and insert the network ID. Okay, next. And then click add host and also insert the domain name. The domain name is www.ikh.inv.my. Okay, next. Also insert the domain name in domain name mail server. The domain server mail server is 172.16.2.11. So for the test verification at the file server, it will display the DNS server 127.0.0.1 for the okay. Next, for the HR or administrator, the DNS will be display as ikh.inv.my, and the IPv4 that prefer is 192.168.2.11. Next. The second one for the accounting, the IPv4 that prefer is 172.60.2.11. And for the next, and for the last one is for staff. For staff, the IPv4 that prefer is 10.10.10.2.11, and for the gateway is 10.10.2.10. So next. So for the conclusion is DNS and DHCP server play a very important role in the network we use. The DNS server is to translate requests for specific domains into IP addresses, controlling which server user access when they enter the domain name. To make this network function, it must use more than one server. Based on Ted and Diana Eugene, it says to automate the process of assigning IP addresses to network client, the DHCP server service must be installed on at least one server. Okay. So that's all from us. Thank you.